The Christmas church walk at Sandringham is a tableau of royal unity, a carefully staged portrait for the world. But this past year, the frame held a conspicuous, whispering absence. Two faces, long considered fixtures of the festive scene, were missing. And the silence that followed has been, according to royal insiders, utterly deafening. Welcome back to Royal Report 24/7. If you're intrigued by what happens in the shadows of those perfect public smiles, you need to hear this. Before we unravel this latest mystery, make sure you're part of our inner circle. Subscribe to Royal Report 24/7 and hit that bell. Your likes and shares are the signals that tell us you want more of this deep dive reporting. For years, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, the daughters of Prince Andrew and Sarah, Duchess of York, were the spirited, somewhat unofficial fixtures of the Windsor family display. Their presence at Christmas, despite their parents' complex status, was seen as a nod to family inclusion, a gesture from the late Queen to her beloved granddaughters. But this year, as Catherine, the Princess of Wales, braved the walk alone amidst a storm of relentless public scrutiny and bizarre conspiracy theories, Beatrice and Eugenie were notably elsewhere. The official line was quiet, a mere absence noted in the press. No illness was declared, no prior engagement cited. It was just a blank space where they used to be. And in the language of the palace, a blank space is never just a blank space. It is a sentence. Now, after months of that heavy quiet, sources close to the York princesses are finally offering a glimpse behind the curtain, and the picture they paint is one of painful loyalty and deliberate retreat. According to these reports, Beatrice and Eugenie's absence was not a snub, but shield. A conscious, difficult decision made out of a desire to protect Catherine. The theory, as presented by their allies, is this. With the Princess of Wales becoming the focal point of a global media frenzy, a situation the York sisters know all too well from their own mother's decades in the tabloid crosshairs, they believe their presence would only add fuel to the fire. They feared becoming a distraction, that the narrative would swiftly twist from supporting Catherine to analyzing their relationship with her, to dredging up old headlines about their father, Prince Andrew. So, they allegedly chose to step back, to remove any potential variable from an already volatile equation. But within the walls of the palace, no good deed goes unanalyzed. Other insiders, those closer to the king's vision of a streamlined monarchy, whisper a different interpretation. They suggest the absence was less a protective gesture and more a reflection of a new, starker reality under King Charles III. That the slimmed-down monarchy isn't just about working royals, but about symbolic presence. That at a time when the institution is desperate to project an image of core strength, Charles, Camilla, William, and Catherine as the unshakable pillars. The presence of the York sisters, with their inescapable link to the exiled Andrew, is seen as a complicating factor. Their absence, therefore, might have been gently encouraged. This is where the personal tragedy deepens. Beatrice and Eugenie have long navigated an impossible tightrope. They are the daughters of the most scandal-tainted member of the modern royal family. Yet they themselves have built reputations as diligent, discreet, and surprisingly popular figures. Eugenie's work against modern slavery, Beatrice's role in business and philanthropy, they have worked tirelessly to carve a space for themselves that is both respectful of the institution and independent of their father's shadow. But their father's shadow is long, and it seems to fall across every doorway they approach. Now, consider Catherine's position this past Christmas. Isolated, recovering from surgery, facing a torrent of vile speculation online. Would the solidarity of her cousins have been a comfort? Or, as the York camp suggests, would it have been a liability? It's a brutal calculation that speaks to the corrosive nature of perpetual scandal. It forces family to see each other not just as kin, but as potential public relations risks. The reported breaking of silence from Beatrice and Eugenie's circle is telling. It's not a loud declaration, but a strategic whisper. It's an attempt to reclaim the narrative, to frame their absence as one of empathy, not exclusion. To position themselves as the understanding sisters who sacrifice their own place in the family portrait for the greater good of the woman at its center. It's a savvy, poignant move. But it also confirms a heartbreaking truth. In this family, even support must be rendered invisibly, or it risks turning toxic. History is echoing here. We are watching a new generation grapple with the same wounds that plagued their parents. Princess Diana's feeling of being isolated within the palace. Sarah Ferguson's status as a permanent outsider. Now, their daughters are making impossible choices about visibility and loyalty. The pattern repeats, the melody the same. Only the players have changed at SO. Where does this leave the relationship between the Wales and the York princesses? Insiders describe it as cordial but cautious. There are reported text messages of support sent privately to Catherine, invitations to children's birthday parties kept deliberately low-key. But the easy, public camaraderie seems to be a casualty of the current reign. The message from the York side is clear. We are here, but we will not intrude. We love, but from a distance. It is a diplomacy of the heart, fraught with unspoken rules. As the royal family moves forward, the question remains, is there a permanent place for Beatrice and Eugenie in its public future? Or are they destined to be the beloved but background figures, their loyalty proven by their very absence? Their silence at Christmas may have spoken volumes, but the chapters it writes for their futures are still blank. The bonds of this family are being tested in the quietest rooms and the most public absences. At Royal Report 24/7, we read between the lines so you don't miss a word. This story of silent solidarity and royal recalculation is far from over. To follow it with us, make sure you're subscribed. Your support through likes and shares helps us keep a watchful eye on these unfolding sagas. Let us know in the comments. Was their absence an act of protection or a sign of a permanent shift? This is Royal Report 24/7, signing off for now.